Jim, it's been a pretty relentless schedule at the minute. Another big game on Saturday. How's the preparation going for that?
Yeah, it's been a difficult schedule. We've tried not to mention too much privately amongst the lads the overall schedule. We just sort of just talk about the next game. I think as soon as the game finished Tuesday, we're checking injuries out, making sure everybody's doing the right recovery. But yeah, it's I think we all lost a bit more sleep on Tuesday than normal, and sleep's really important for recovery. So a few tired lads today, but fortunately everybody fully fit, raring to go again. Yeah, but just a jaded edge, if you like, to training, but really pleased the work we got done today, and again, another good prep day tomorrow, and we should be in great shape for Saturday.
In terms of injuries, Ash Palmer and Jamie Stott have missed the last two games. How are they looking for Saturday?
Fortunately, Luke, he might have slept at the training ground, I think, but he had him in on Wednesday yesterday, and put him through a rigorous physical program, you know, to see physically the running, the twisting, the turning, and they both came through with that okay, and so they both trained today. So that's great additions. So a few problems for myself to figure out what we do, but we at least now, with the games coming thick and fast, if we have any doubts or concerns about anybody, if we think anybody's getting fatigue or struggling, then we've got some great options now.
Yeah, how important is squad rotation going to be over the next month? Because even after Saturday, there's another big game against Notts County on Tuesday. Every player's going to have to play their part, aren't they?
I don't really like the term squad rotation, because it tends to suggest that you systematically change the team for one competition to the next, you know, and I don't think it'd be a question that we have got a healthy squad and we've got the ability to make changes, but it'll be a calculated small steps. I mean, we made 2 or 3 changes in the last couple of games and tried to keep things fresh. But the danger when you get a team that's doing well, starting to connect, getting a result, then you're tempted to stick with that. But yeah, we've got some good options now that should we feel it's appropriate to just invigorate the group, and if it's not at the start of the game, at least we know that we've got a very strong bench with really fresh, hungry players to come in and make us stronger defensively or offensively.
Obviously, the draw for the FA Trophy was made earlier this week. Chorley or Guiseley at Edgeley Park. What's your reaction to that draw?
It's a sensible thing to have the draw the way it was. I was really concerned that, you know, if they waited to the 15th of December till the games were concluded and then did the draw on a Wednesday, we would only have 48 hours notice for booking hotels and coaches for, you know, Christmas weekend games. Yeah, like I said, you don't know who's going to come out of the house. I mean, like all cup competitions, you always like to have something completely different, you know, a very unusual experience. But we know what we're getting with Guiseley and Chorley, and pleased in many ways it's a home game. Like I said, I'm not sure the groundsman likes the amount of home games we've got from then till the West Ham game, but yeah, for us and probably for Chorley and Guiseley, it could have been a lot worse in terms of the travel involved on such a weekend. And like I said, a really good competitive fixture for us, a real chance for us to, if you like, we may consider changes with the games programme we have, but for those that have earned, if you like, a start. But yeah, it's a good game for us to look forward to. But between now and then, we've got 2 tough league games against, well, 2 teams that we expect to be there or thereabouts at the end of the season.
Just looking briefly back at Tuesday, Jordan Williams made his first competitive start for the club that day. How did you assess his performance, and how big a part is he going to play in the rest of the season now?
Well, to answer the second part, I don't know, but we expect him to be a big player for us this year. You know, we looked at early in the season of having 3 or 4 players capable of getting 50 goals, and you know, you've got Richie Bennett, you've got Connor Jennings, you've got John Rooney, Jordan Williams, I think picked up 15, 17 goals last year. You've got Alex Reid, 10 goals. So, but we felt between whichever 3 or 4 that we played from them that we'd get a good contribution. So, and we haven't seen that from Jordan yet. So Jordan's starting to make a way into the team. But the great thing about Jordan, he's got great versatility. He can play down the middle, he can play him off either side. If you ask him to do the dirty side of the game, track, defend, or even play as an attacking fullback, he'll do that for you. And was really pleased. I think when he came on at Bromley, he was disappointed to only get the little bit of time he did, but when he came on, he looked really strong, really fit, really purposeful, and I felt that he could add something to us, and I think we've seen what he's capable in that first half. Unfortunately, as the game wore on, I think he was dragged back into the defensive side. But Mark Kitchen, we didn't expect Jordan to play the full game. We knew Mark Kitchen would come on, and the great thing for Mark that he was coming on at a time when they were down to 10 men, so he had that little bit more freedom. So it's great to have two good players on the left, and great cover, great attacking options, and like I said, it's going to be very much a 14-man game each time we play now.
It's Sutton up on Saturday. Although they lost on Tuesday, they've enjoyed a really strong start to the season, second in the table. I think they're the second top scorers in the league. So what sort of challenge are you expecting from them?
I think they're a really good side. I think they've got all the kind of key attributes you want. They've got the right balance between playing and penetration. They've got some really strong front players, particularly powerful, pacey players, which is causing a lot of problems for teams. I think Chesterfield and previously the likes of Wrexham had played maybe a lower line and maybe a tighter defence and kept them at bay. But yeah, they're good on set plays defensively, offensively. I think they've done a great job. I think 2 years ago they had a really good season. Last season they couldn't quite get going, but he's found the right blend this season, and they look a very, very capable side. I've watched the Chesterfield game, and Chesterfield, did well, and they obviously look energised and organised, and they have good threats and set plays from John Pemberton's era. But the new managers come in and galvanise them with a couple of players. So, whether they deserve winners or not, they won 1-0. But the previous result with them beating Solihull 4 at Solihull was a tremendous result and a tremendous testament of what they're capable of doing on the road if you give them space and room to operate in.
Obviously, last season, the two games between the two sides were quite tight, intense, 0-0 draws. So are we expecting a more open game on Saturday?
Probably in all my games, I probably haven't had that many 0-0 draws. To have two in a season and both against the same opposition. I think perhaps it was both games will mark respect. We were on a bad run in September. We went there, wanted to try and keep it tight. I think we had a couple of really good chances, a blatant handball that wasn't given. And then they came to our place, and perhaps things had changed differently, and they were perhaps a very cautious approach from both teams. I don't envisage that type of game. But again, it's like one of those games where it's between two teams at the top, and it could turn out to be a scintillating game. It could turn out to be the way we played Solihull. That two teams like sort of over-protect or over-respect. But it'd be an interesting game. But it'd be a real measure of how far we've come, not only to stop, but potentially be a team that have shown to be one of the front runners this season.
You mentioned after the game on Tuesday that in some ways you feel like the team are still maybe trying to find themselves a little bit. What is the next step that we need to take our game to the next level, do you think?
It's difficult because you want to have a consistency in approach. You want players to sort of build individual, whether that be like say Richie and Alex Reid, or whether that be Jordan and James on the left, or Sam and Connor on the right. The relationships and the bend and balances. But we've had intermittent injuries. Then we've had teams play different shapes. We've had players. I think we went through a series of games where it was Ash out, Sam out, Richie out. So we've disrupted some of them, and sometimes we've had to play different shapes in the game. But I think we just got to be prepared for everything, really. Build those relationships, but not just one relationship, other relationships. And I think that we're starting to be more consistent in our approach to the way we defend, more consistent in our set plays, and that's starting to show in the defensive record and the amount of goals we score and don't concede from set plays. I think the other side of it, the combinations of how we penetrate and what's our strengths and what's playing to their weaknesses, is where the players have to have a little bit of pattern, but also give you a little bit of hit the ground and think on your feet and be prepared for anything. And I think we've got players who can do that. So, yeah, we've got a lot of work with all of our players, and it's even though we're approaching Christmas, we're nowhere near a quarter way through, or half a way, a third of the way through, never mind half. So long journey to go, and it's going to be a long, hard season. But we just want to be just one game at a time. Make sure that we've got a consistent approach, similar to what we've had in the last 2 games. Really hard to create against and creating opportunities. And if we do that, then we'll have a good chance. And but we've got a capable group, and we could put many of them together, and they'll forge good relationships.
Does that excite you though, that the fact that when you consider the strong start that we have had to the season, there's still a sense that there's so much more to come from this team as we go on?
Yeah, I don't think any of us ever thought that we would hit the ground running as a perfect team. I think because of the nature of the squad we put together anyway, we've got several options and several different teams and permutations. And like I said, what's a great start? What Torquay have done is a great start. We've had a very good start. Each win will make it look like a really good start. People were saying this last year when we had a great start, but we actually started off with a defeat and 2 draws until we actually grew in confidence that we were capable of achieving at this level, and then got 5 wins and 6. So, but what we wanted this year was to sort of start seeing the team coming together, improvements, people starting to show what they're about and grow, and I think we're seeing that, and clearly with some players and the overall group, there's more to come.
Brilliant. Jim, thanks for your time.
You're welcome.